Hello, my friends. Thanks for joining me to play with the ideas that I present on my channel today. I've gotten some new hits about karma. The downloads keep coming. So today I wanted to talk about intergenerational karma. Karma is patterns in energy that are created in our energy field by circumstances and also reinforced by the way we think about those circumstances. I mean, we can either make them get bigger or make them get smaller. And there is positive karma also. The negative karma is the karma that can interfere with becoming really conscious. Karma, if unaddressed and unrecognized, keeps us unconscious, keeps us out of our present moment, keeps us out of who we are inside. So it's really worth it to explore these patterns in energy, recognize them, track back their origin, forgive, do the mantra, do the Hawaiian prayer, wish the people that perhaps installed the karma in us in the first place, that they have everything that they desire. There are lots of ways to dissolve karma, and there's a lot in my karma series on the dissolution of these energetic patterns that we carry in our emotional body, and also that work their way into our physical body and can affect the way our health is. Okay, intergenerational karma. The last video that I did, I kept thinking about my stepdaughter, and I kept thinking about how I was married to her father, obviously, and at that time, he was a very creative man who didn't operate in the normal kind of get a job, make money kind of way. It was hit or miss. And so when she was a child, her mother suffered financial insecurity because of my husband's inability to support his children. Clearly. So she absorbed some of that from her mother. That fear was put into her by the circumstances that her mother was experiencing. Okay, so then fast forward, my stepdaughter had 2 children with a man who did the same thing, who disappeared on her and left her a single mother, just barely scraping by, even though, she works a decent job, but, having 2 kids on her own in New Jersey, this is tough, right? So she's experienced financial insecurity through that experience, okay? And then her brother had my ex-husband sign all of the estate over to him. In other words, cutting out the other 2 siblings from any inheritance. And I know what that inheritance entailed. And there may be a legal recourse, but it's pretty tough. My ex signed everything over to the oldest son 2 months before he died. More financial abuse of my stepdaughter and my stepson, but let's just stay with one story for a second. Okay, and then, so she has children. She has a very gifted son, my grandson. I consider him my grandson, and she's trying to support and promote him in getting launched in life, but she doesn't really have the resources that, he's needed. And so she's had to make tremendous sacrifices for him. Now, whether this was conscious abuse or unconscious abuse, it was still a part of this pattern of males not stepping up for her. And so I was thinking about her as I did the last video. And then I realized all of a sudden, oh my word, this is intergenerational karma in her. I've actually written her an email about this just so she could consider these ideas. So she has a lot of fear of financial insecurity that she absorbed from her mother that was reinforced by her father, her brother, her first husband, and her son. But her son's really big gift to her is like eventually she said, no, kid, you got to make it on your own. I'm done. Can't do it. And so my grandson's gift to her was she set boundaries finally about this. And so was beginning to dissolve this karma, which goes way, 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 way back in her. Okay. So then I was thinking about intergenerational karma, and I don't think we have to think about ancestral karma, but I want to give you a little bit of where that phrase might come from. All right, so my own mother was treated by her mother the way my mother treated me. And I saw it. I actually saw it in action, you know, when I was much younger and they were still alive. And I was like horrified that her mother would treat her that way. And so, you know, my mother didn't unravel that karma. I absorbed it from my mother. And so I kept spinning it around inside me until I was healed enough to be able to talk to my mother. And my mother said, there will be no karma between us unless you bring it with you. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound fair. But on the other hand, in a heartbeat, I figured out, yes, we are completely responsible for our karma. No matter where it came from, we are responsible for how we think about it. Okay, so I did a lot of dissolution within myself about my own rejection and my RA, which is rheumatoid arthritis, which came from absorbing all that rejection and rejecting myself. The RA started to get better and better and better and better. So the pattern of that, you could refer to it as ancestral karma. I have no idea how my mother's mother, my great-grandmother, treated her daughter. But that particular great-grandmother has been a guide to me and is a really interesting woman, but that's not the subject of this video. Okay, so when you begin to look at these patterns within yourself in order to not act unconsciously out of these patterns so that they don't trigger you anymore into this spiral of negative thoughts and negative feelings, sometimes you do have to look back and understand that this karma was the behavior that got passed down. And I do not feel that this is related to DNA at all. I feel that this is all the mechanics of the energetics of the way people are. Okay, I'm thinking about stopping that here, but I have almost another one that I want to put out immediately. And oh, well, maybe I'll talk about it now. Bear with me. Okay, so the other download, the other insight that I was given was that my father, after he died, well, he told me this because it was a lot easier for me to communicate with my father than my mother. It took years for that. But my dad was pretty accessible right away. We were not that dissimilar in many ways. Anyway, he said something that puzzled me for a very long time. He said that after he died, that he experienced these dark swirling patterns, like almost like demons that were trying to hold him down, or he saw them. He saw these dark swirling patterns. And my golly, that really bothered me for a long time for him. He's out of them now. He worked through it. He's healed from them now. Now let's put that together with something that Sterling Psychic Medium, if you haven't looked up his channel, he's one of the best people we've got to tap into. You know, I'm not interested in political stuff, but I love to watch his process. He's really, really good. Sterling Psychic Medium, just like it sounds. Anyway, he was saying that in the afterlife, we don't have karma. We don't carry our karma into the afterlife. So I was trying to put that together with my dad's experience of swirling around in his karma, because I know some of the history of how his mother treated him. You know, we don't have to get into all that, but you know, he did carry darkness within him. And I used to respond to that darkness. I mean, it scared me at times because I could read it. I could feel it coming off of him, you know, his anger or even hatred, you know, I could feel from him, not toward me, but in general, sometimes towards me. Doesn't matter anymore. I didn't absorb that from him. I always knew kind of that was him, which I didn't have that perspective with my mother. But let's get back to his experience of this. Now, I do believe that in our healing after we're in spirit, we do heal our karmic patterns, and we are aided with this by other beings, by other guides, animals, people who love us on the other side. We can access healing from this. So Sterling is right in that we do not continue with our karma in the afterlife, but we do heal it. And I had never put that together of what my father was experiencing, was these energetic patterns that he got somewhat tangled in when he left his body. So how interesting is that? I mean, I can't prove it, you know, but I did put those two things together. So thanks so much for coming today. And until we meet again, please review the series that I did on karma. My thinking has evolved. I've been watching some of those now, and I would actually do them a little bit differently with my understanding that these patterns are mechanical. You know, they can be objectified, even though we're feeling them and carrying them subjectively. We can become objective about them and work with them through introspection and the willingness to become conscious and aware. I mean, these are real energetic patterns. I can't stress that enough. This isn't, well, some people might call it woo-woo, but to me, it's not woo-woo at all. This is mechanical. And this is a energetic interpretation, perhaps, of psychoanalysis or psychotherapy. But to me, it's a much more accessible way to take self-responsibility for the things that cause us pain, the things that trigger us. Okay, that's enough for today. So until I see you again, please be well and please be blessed. See you next time.